had to watch it back just to remember what I was saying. So I was talking about health and schools, yeah. But I had a really bad health. Really, I wasn't eating vegetables at all. And there was this one girl in my class who was basically saying that because she was a vegetarian, she actually went to a health specialist so that she could avoid eating meat whilst eating like a healthy balance. And she was always a little bit obsessed. Well, she was talking about it a lot, and I was just like, I eat like a potato a day, and I've like never taken any health care. I've never taken any interest in my health, and I'm basically eating nothing each day. Like I would literally eat nothing basically, maybe a piece of bread or something, and then I call it a camel diet where I don't eat anything between Monday and Friday, and then I just eat massively in the weekend. Yeah, now that I am older, I feel that's a complete waste of money because we were paying like about £2 or £3 per meal per day at boarding school, and there was three of them. So basically, I was just wasting £9 worth of food each day. But I never saw it that way. My dad just was mostly paying for my boarding school, and he didn't seem to care about money, so I didn't either. But yeah, I wasted basically. I didn't eat properly at all, and it was interesting because after she told me that, I thought I'd actually go and get a health check. So I went to the GP and told them that I basically never eat vegetables or anything healthy, and can you do a check to see if my health level is fine? And they said it was. So I was just like, right. I don't know what that was, but I felt like it almost felt like it didn't matter what you eat, but it's more about your mind. And you know, it's a belief that I had that if illnesses happen, it might not actually be the food that you eat, because there are plenty of people who never eat healthy throughout the whole life, and yet they don't get any problems. And there are other people that do eat healthy all their life, and then something happens and they start blaming it on the food that they're eating or something. You know, I don't know, but I've seen some court cases recently in America where they're people are saying, oh, this chemical and this has got this chemical and this has got, and I have no idea what they're talking about because I was never obsessive like that. My health was extremely bad throughout my whole life, and I don't believe I had any health problems except for my heart thing. That's another thing I needed to tell you, which is I don't know, sometimes I get pains in my heart. I used to be a really good runner when I was 12, and I remember there being a time where it just stopped. And I could no longer run. From the age of 12, I could no longer run. If I run for like, I think it was some running workshop thing that we did, and we just did a tiny little run, which was about like 100 meters or something, and I was like so exhausted after that, and I realized that my health was kind of slipping. Okay, maybe it was to do with me not eating properly or whatever. So maybe me saying that I was healthy kind of makes me think actually was I, because I have had some weird heart problems, but I don't know. The tests showed that I was healthy, but yes, I was having strange heart stitches, and yeah, I don't know what happened the day that Aaliyah died, but I am wondering if maybe I died in the middle of the night through some sort of heart attack or stroke that I weren't aware of because I was asleep, and then lived her full life, did a full-time loop, and then jumped back. You know, I don't know if that's possible. But when I'm thinking about these heart pains that I get, you know, they do really feel like I can't breathe, like I have to kind of go like that just to get my breath again. And it happened quite a lot, like not a lot, but probably about 10 times a year or something, which is quite a lot. I've kind of just not. I try to not think about it because I don't believe it's got anything to do with my food. But it might do, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird how there's some people that seem to obsess about food, and there's other people that don't obsess about food at all. And but yeah, I think that that maybe what is yeah, when it comes to the food, so that, I don't know. When it comes to death, there's not that many people in my life who have died. But one of them died just before COVID started in 2000, who was my sister's partner, and he just died randomly in the middle of the night. And so, you know, it was thinking about like that. Just, you know, he went to bed normal. I think he had a slight stomach ache, nothing serious. And the next thing he knew, he's dead. Well, no, I don't know if he knew it, but the partner knew it because she woke up in bed to find him dead, and that's that's very shocking for my mum's sister. That was, but yeah, she went through that experience, and when I was thinking about how, did Aaliyah, was she me first, and then I lived her life first, and then died, and then went back time and was born. That's what I was thinking originally, that she was the second Christ and I'm the third. But because my parents are more similar to what I would expect to get if I'd lived a life as a cave person, because of that. And I think Aaliyah's parents were very similar to sort of what I would have wanted when I was 14. When I was 14, I was struggling with my dyslexia, and I was really wanting to become a singer. I'd kind of given up on that dream a little bit because I'd left Sylvia's, but I was still hoping that they would happen, and therefore if I would have died when I was 14, through like my mum's sister's husband, if I would have died just randomly in the middle of the night, gone back time, lived her full life, died in a plane crash that very moment, and then somehow jumped back into my body on that day, I would feel like that actually seems more likely, just because her parents were more similar to the sort of parents I probably would have got when at the age, you're when you die, your parents are assessed by how you were, and I feel like at 14 I was at a certain sort of undeveloped stage, but I was in a sort of mindset that needed a tutor. Her mum's a tutor, and I just feel like it's likely that would be the process of how it happened, rather than going from a cave woman to getting to being Aaliyah. I feel like there might have been, me living my life, and just being, I had a really bad fashion head sense when I was 12. I don't know what it is, but when I was 12, I had this like really strong need to want to wear wear t-shirts underneath strap tops. Now that's a crazy thing, and I never quite understood it, because when I actually started wearing strap tops without t-shirts underneath, it became like far more natural. But the fact that at 12 it actually felt more natural to not reveal my shoulders, that doesn't make sense. If I was, Aaliyah if I was Aaliyah, died and then was reborn in 1987, I don't feel like I would have had that need to want to wear t-shirts underneath a strap top, because I would have felt far more confident in my own body. But by the age of when I got to boarding school, which was when I was 14, there was a time where by that stage I was far more confident with revealing skin, and just feeling more like I wanted to be more sexual and stuff, and therefore I feel like if I died at that point, went back time to 1979, lived Aaliyah's full life, and then jumped back in, I feel like how I was when I was 14 is more in line with how Aaliyah was, if you get that. So I'm feeling like it's more likely in that order, rather than now. I feel like if I die now and went back to being Aaliyah, I feel like I would have a strong hatred towards Christianity, and I don't think Aaliyah did have strong hatred towards Christianity. Whereas if my soul would have been in a mid stage, at 14, I didn't hate Christianity, but I didn't like it. But I didn't like my parents, and therefore I would have had more. I had more respect for Christianity when my soul was at that stage. So I do feel like I changed quite a lot when I was around 14, or maybe it was I might have even been 12, to be honest. But I feel like, I don't know. But I'm thinking, and those are my thoughts. But yes, we're going back to the topic on the sort of husband marriage idea. I want the world, there to be sort of like a world government that has huge amounts of wealth, but there might be arguments if there is something that's, I don't know, if gold is missing. I was just thinking the other day, if gold is missing or something, then and say you are keeping it secret from other countries because you don't want them to know or something, like I don't know what would happen in this kind of situation, but I know that we just need to fix it. We shouldn't think about the past, but at the same time there's obviously a lot of people that might be enjoying money that don't, it doesn't exist, if that's true, or taking out loans that they haven't paid back and you've just written it off when you shouldn't have done, because someone else should have been enjoying all the things that they did with that money. You know, there's incredible amount of unfairness that might come with an unfair system, and I just don't know enough about the system to know if it's fair or not, so I can't say if it's fair or not. But what I can say is, if I marry just millions of millionaires, and if a lot of them, I don't know which ones are going to stay and which ones are going to be tricked, I don't know. But if I marry a lot of people that get tricked and go, and then the money sort of, just because I'm married to them through some sort of trick wedding or something, if all this money just comes to me and then I just put it straight into the sort of one world system, and then you use that one world system to pay off. I don't want to be marrying anyone that's going to be getting into huge debts though, so that there does need to be something. I want to marry people that are going to be wanting to leave and leave lots of wealth behind. That way I can try and fix whatever. I don't know if I don't even know if it needs fixing. That's the thing. I don't know enough about it. If there is some, yeah, it's like trying to talk about something and you don't know what you're talking about. How are you supposed to like know what to say if you don't know what to talk about? But I feel like other people might understand, because they might see that you shouldn't just be allowed to take out £100,000 mortgage on something, live there for 7 years, pay off only half of it, and then just say, you know, I'm going to forget this, I'm going to move to a different country and start making money there, and just, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. But yeah, maybe there are people that have done that and they've actually done it to a benefit. You know, people sometimes do get themselves into heavy debt and then leave the country because they don't want to live in poverty of having to pay off this loan that they can't afford. I mean, technically the bankers should not be letting out loans that people can't pay off, so it's probably the bankers' fault. But how are the bankers going to pay back it if they've been lending out trillions of dollars of debt that they can't afford to pay? So I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know what's going to happen because I don't know enough about money. But I know that the best way to get rich is to marry people, and then when they die, all their wealth becomes yours. So if I marry a bunch of people who are planning on dying soon, then the wealth can become mine, and if there are any unfair debts, then maybe there'll be people that can help me fix it, using whatever this is. But yeah, I figure it out yourself.